Hey friendos, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Matt. We're back with some more Marvel Future Fight, and as you can see, we've just collected Magneto's Krakoan winter uniform. So let's get straight into it. We've now just bought it, so let's rank it up. We'll have a look and see what the options are, and then we shall take it into some content and see if it was worth getting. So let's have a look. Oh, we can see first of all this first uniform option, Blue Marvel. Not the best, but hey ho, let's carry on and see if we have some better options further on. Okay, Iron Man back to basics is the second option, is really good. We all know that Iron Man's new uniform is really meta defining for him. So having that on the second option, which can give us the attack or the HP stat, is really great. Obviously we're building Magneto for PvE content, so we're going to re-roll this to get energy attack. Hopefully we'll get something decent. Not that. Not that either. Yeah, if we could go 556 or higher, but with energy attack, we would. Oh, there you go. Yeah, 567. We'll take that maximum. Okay, so we're just gonna run out all of our lower XP chips just to get rid of them. Okay. Oh. It's an interesting one, this third one. Obviously, Jean Grey's X-Men Red is her older uniform. It was very meta for a long time, and a lot of people didn't even get the Marvel Girl uniform, choosing to stay with X-Men Red Jean. So yeah, it's not the best, but it was one for, I think, for older players certainly. I don't know why we left out of Magneto there, we jumped out. We're looking for... Okay, so we need dodge and cooldown. Everything else is pretty much fine. Of course, without his iconic helmet, he's kind of hard to spot. So it took a while there to see where he was. I forgot that I'd favorited him. Okay, so skill cooldown is what we'll need for that on. And moving on to the fourth option, let's have a look and see what we have here. Okay, Hawkeye. Not bad. Again, it's his newest and it's his best uniform, so again, it's not a completely meta one. However, it's not a bad one. I do think when he gets a tier 4 we'll probably see a new uniform for him though, so it's a bit tough to say whether it's worth getting just as an optional, as opposed to if you already have the character and have him built up. Come on, give me something decent. Okay, that'll do. Dodge. And now let's take him to Mythic. We'll just get rid of all of these, we'll just use up these. And what have we got? Oh, that's a shame. It'd have been nicer if this was the other way around, if we'd have had Jessica Jones Duel as the 4th and Hawkeye as the 5th, but hey ho, we can't have it all. So a mixed bag all in all. Only one super meta uniform there with Iron Man. The rest are a bit of a mixed bag. I think a lot of older players will have Jean anyway. So yeah, that's a tough call to make as to whether or not you're going to get that, considering she's had 2 since then, and that was a blast uniform. But it is what it is. We can't do much about it. And then obviously we have Hawkeye, at least it's his newest uniform and relatively new, and Jessica Jones, she's not great, but people who did build up a Defenders PvP or AC team will most likely have that anyway, so it's something. All attacks is just as good as energy attack, so we'll keep that. And let's take him into some uniform action. So just having a look, you can see we've got a lot more of the optionals for this one than the last one. You can see the last one only gave him 20%, and his first uniform was really bad. It was basically only dealt damage to machine types. So yeah, he had a bit of a buff against Iron Man and Hulkbuster and Ultron, and like that was it. So at least we're finally getting some decent perks with his uniform this time around, even though, well, he does look like a very dapper gentleman. He really does not look like the iconic Magneto we all know and love at all. See the rest of the build here. Got stage 12 overdrive, just a standard obelisk on him with a 160 proc, and yeah, just a standard artifact. Obviously his has only just come out and we're not going to be rolling for that, don't worry, we're not going to be doing that. Now, I would like to think that he's going to be really useful for ABL. Admittedly, probably not with an obelisk. He's probably going to need at least an energy, probably a rage, just like every other character these days. He really needs a rage to shine. Sadly, his attack is just energy. There's no elementals, so he can't use a judgment, which is a shame. But it's going to be a couple of days before we can use him in the higher content of Legend. So we're going to have to wait on that one. So for the moment, we're just going to have to satisfy ourselves with seeing how he does in World Boss. So, diving in, you can see we've only maxed out Jean Grey as far as stage 9. And you can see we're having to use very meta teams, all tier 4 or level 80 at the very least, to get through this. So I'm not sure how long he's going to last anyway, regardless of what uniform he has, but we're going to give him all the help we can do. So we'll give him his own leadership, which is 50% attack for all mutant allies. We're going to give him Cyclops passive, which is going to give him another 40% to his energy attack, and then we're going to give him Mystique, which again is going to give the support passive and the team up as well. So, and then we're just going to go for the leadership with a little bit of ignore dodge as well for the strikers. So let's see how he gets on. Now, I'm not expecting him to do amazingly, but we shall see as to whether or not his new kit has given him any utility at all. So let's dive in and see how we get on against the Dark Phoenix. Ooh. Okay, so very first impressions. The skills don't look very different, and the movement speed, even though he flies, and I don't know if this is just a me thing or if you guys think this as well, characters who fly, if you're flying, you should be able to fly faster than people who can walk or run. And having this weird, horrible floaty, I know Magneto, he uses magnetism to fly or float in the air, but he shouldn't be this slow. And as you can see, he just got absolutely wrecked. So did Cyclops with his uniform. So it's not just a Magneto thing. I think bringing in any character who isn't completely fully built up with CTPs and a maxed out build is going to struggle against this level of content. It's the highest level PvE content we have in game at the moment. So I'm not really going to hold that against him. However, it doesn't really give us much of anything as a gauge for how much better this uniform is. So let's actually change his uniform over to his old House of X, and let's have a look and see if in the small time that he does survive, if we can tell much of a difference. If we can't, then we're just going to have to go down to the lowest level, stage 1, and see what he can do there. Wow, there's not even really much of a difference in the skills at all. I think House of X feels a little bit faster. I'm not sure if that's just the placebo effect there. Yeah, no, he's gone again in about the same time. So clearly at this build, this current stage is too high for him. So yeah, if we're comparing it to someone of a like build, let's give someone no, Cable's got an energy on him. Let's put in Doctor Strange, because he doesn't have a PvE build. He doesn't have a rage, he has an authority, because I actually built him for PvP. I never bothered changing, but I was going to put a rage on him, but then I ended up giving it to other characters because more characters came out who needed it. I think it went to Thor in the end, who ended up being better with a rage than with a mighty judgment. So as you can see, even though his damage is better in terms of survivability, because stage 9 is relatively high for my account, for my build, even Doctor Strange can't last. So it is just a question of the fact that level 70 just isn't high enough to get through this content. So we're going to drop it all the way down to stage 1, and we're going to swap back in Magneto, and let's have a go with his House of X uniform on stage 1, where he should at least have a little more survivability, if not the actual penetration to do real damage to Jean. Okay. So again, you can see we're still having to... Oof. Yeah, with his floating, he's very slow, and he does get stuck in a lot of his animations, unfortunately, with all the snaring and traps that Jean lays. His old uniform definitely isn't suitable at all. It may just be that none of his are, and sadly we're looking for something that just isn't there in terms of actual PvE viability, and it may just be that he's just a leadership and nothing else, which would be disappointing. We'll see. So yeah, you can see the skills, they might have changed the colour on the orb and the missiles, but that's pretty much about it. Pretty much the same. So yeah, we do have to be a lot more mindful and stay away. Having to play keep away at stage 1 of World Boss is a novel concept, as opposed to just standing there and face tanking. And even though he's got his heal now, he's still pretty brittle. And you can't stand up to taking too much punishment. Oof, as you can see there, if you don't get out of the way. Like I say, even with that heal, it's not doing him too many favours. And the fact that we've only managed to take down, what, 10 bars here after a minute isn't really good. Okay, 11 bars. We might get down to 12 bars if we're super lucky. Yeah, and you can see we're having to play keep away, so it's not a great first verdict. I gotta be honest. I was expecting to be blown away, especially when you consider how amazing Black Bolt's was. Black Bolt really set a precedent for where we expect the level of these full cost. You considering that you're essentially buying 2 uniforms worth of uniform with the amount of crystal cost that this is, you expect return on your investment, and we're not getting it. So let's have a look and see where we go in GBR. That's really disappointing. I was really hoping for a lot stronger from a winter uniform. We all know I'm sadly not going to be getting magic. Unfortunately, I'm only a small streamer. I can't afford to be spending money on the game at that kind of level to be able to go ahead and buy her. So unfortunately you won't see that. But we're going to take the same team in. Not Iron Man, go away. Mystique, there we go. And let's see if we can get... Ah, lovely, thanks very much. Kick from the lobby, let's try that again. Let's see how he compares to other teams. And now we're going to have to wait around for again to get in. At least our team is fully set up. Ooh, you've got a bad team, mate. Wow, wow, they kicked me with that team. Okay, if you're watching this video, that's interesting. Thanks, mate. Are we going to get any luck here? Come on, you've both got tier 4s. Let me... No? Wow. That's pretty mean, guys. That's pretty mean. I don't know what that's all about. Well, I guess we're just going to have to create a lobby ourselves, aren't we? And just go in on our own. Yeah, thanks very much. I tell you what, guys, if you're watching this and you ever see me in GBR, I'll never kick anyone. I'm happy to run. I'm happy to carry people. Yes, my account isn't the fastest. I won't do it in a minute and a half or 2 minutes, but I can pretty much always get within 4 or 5 minutes. So yeah, don't take a lesson from these guys and just kick anyone the second you see them. It's Christmas, guys. Come on, have a heart. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here for my kingdom. So let's have a look. And it is not a happy impression at all. Okay, we've got some damage there from his first rotation. We can get the proc a little more reliably. We're just kind of spamming the skills here, so you want to get it, you want to be hitting 3, 5, 4, so you want to get that orb up on the 5th before you bring the missiles down, and that's where you want to get the proc ideally. But but we're just kind of spamming at the moment because we haven't got the rotation quite right. There we go. But then we didn't get the proc until a little late. So in a minute we got him down 18 bars. Sadly we can't escape out. We can't go into a practice mode in GBR, which is a bit of a pain. So we're going to have to skip out and come back. There we go. So you can see we've swapped over to his old House of X uniform, and we'll see how he compares in this. Bearing in mind, again, like I say, we don't have all the uniform options, so it's not the cleanest of comparisons, but it's as close as we're going to get. And you can see, definitely aesthetically, the skills haven't changed at all. They might have changed the coloration, but in terms of the actual effects and the animations, pretty much exactly the same, which is a real disappointment. And also, very, very similar to Polaris's as well, which is ultra disappointing. It's also a shame to think that I wasted 1750 crystals on this new uniform, which doesn't seem to be a massive jump up. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just first impressions after all. It looks like being about a 10 bar. Oh, well, there you go, he died as well. So he does have more survivability, and there's about a 9-10 bar difference in GBR. Oh dear. So yeah, that's the first impressions. Unfortunately, it's not looking amazing. Again, that might be down to the build, and what I'm gonna do, I don't think a greed's gonna work on him, and sadly we don't have a rage, so what I might do, in fact I think I'm gonna do, yeah, I'm gonna forge these destructions in to give him a mighty, so then he'll be similar in build to Iron Man. Now my Iron Man can whip through content. You can see we managed to get a really good roll on his mighty destruction, and it's just as good as his energy. And even better, some would argue, because of the guard break that the destruction offers. And obviously with Magneto's uniform, he has the chain hit anyway. So we're going to just, it doesn't matter which one, we're just going to chuck it on, because obviously once we've reforged, we're probably going to need to re-roll the options anyway. So I'm not going to add in an egg, because it only gives 1% chance. Really not worth it. That egg might come in handy for something at some other point in time, but for now, we're just going to re-roll. Okay, so we've got a mighty. Yeah, the all defense and all attacks by 12% isn't the best. We can just change that, like I say, once you've got the option to re-roll, you can change that, and we keep re-rolling. All the other options are now really good, and he's got the 200 proc on it. But we might keep rolling just to get the strike. But I'm not going to do that in this video. Don't want to keep you guys too long. But we'll see how he gets on with that. I'll do some further testing, and then I'll come back with a more final verdict tomorrow for you guys. But yeah, there we go. That's our first impression. Unfortunately, as well as losing his iconic looks, he's kept a lot of the same skills, a lot of the same animations. They've just given the animations, wow, they've just gone in and changed the filter on them, haven't they, really? It's looking like he's very much like Captain America, or a lot of newer characters where it's not so much the uniform, but the uniform combined with level 80 and tier 4 that's really going to make a difference. He's not at all like Black Bolt, unfortunately, which is a real shame, because that was the kind of level we've come to expect now from these payable uniforms. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.